With corn acres and yields through the roof, the talk has been that it will be another record year.
In this week's Bottom Line, Neil Melancon says while that still may be on the table, it will be a definite record yield for all of ag trade.
The Bottom Line is brought to you by the Cotton Board, strengthening the fiber of our industry.
This past week, USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack announced once again the U.S. was in an ag trade surplus. This wasn't news in and of itself, as it continues a tradition of at least 50 years. The new part of it was that it's likely going to be a record year for exports, coming in at $152.5 billion of U.S. ag exports shipped out to other countries. In addition, the surplus left over when you take out imports is at $43 billion, which is also a record. Now, if it seems like every year we see a new record set, that is kind of true. So while this may not be earth-shattering news, it is news very grounded in the economy of not only the U.S., but Louisiana. For one, even during the Great Recession we had recently, ag exports were strong while everything else was at a deficit. Two, as Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain tells us, almost every stitch of ag products we produce here in the state is exported.
We're a net export state. You know, over $9 billion of our production is exported. So when you talk about the positive balance of trade and a growth in that positive balance of trade, you know, we're probably talking, you know, going to hit that $164 billion. You know, in the last quarter, exports from Louisiana ports are up another, 9% overall of all of our commodities. And so when you look at exports, exports bring in hard dollars to Louisiana. We have a great gift in our port systems.
By the way, Dr. Strain was off by a bit as he recalled the national numbers off the top of his head, but the bottom line is that it is a lot of money. Further, his point about the gift in our port systems means that not only do we get a huge benefit of the ag products we produce here in the state, but we also get the economic benefit of 2/3 of the grain produced in this country going out of the ports of South Louisiana. And of course, we're seeing those huge crops of corn here in the state coming up, but there is a mountain of corn getting ready to ship right down the Mississippi through our ports, and we're going to get a piece of that for every kernel that shipped.
Isn't that amazing that Americans do not realize that $152 billion in agricultural products keeps our country at a trade surplus? I bet if you asked folks and said, what's the one thing that probably keeps the economy going? They would say software or something like that.
Something in the tech trade.
That's right. Without agriculture, the U.S., the checkbook numbers would be in the red a little bit.
Big time.
Yeah. Neil Melancon, good story.
Well, that about does it for this edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Be sure to join us next week when we'll bring you a success story of a different kind. We'll take you to the first graduation of the LSU Ag Center's Food Incubator. And let's just say it is sensational, as in sensation salad, one of my favorites.
Well, until then, you can watch all of our stories from this show or past shows on our website at twilatv.org, and keep up with what we're doing on Facebook and Twitter.
For all of us here at This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you again right here next week.